Action step, go find your screen time settings, click today, and then scroll down until you find this, which is the amount of times you've picked up your phone today. Today is April 27th, and I've picked up my phone 162 times. 162 times I picked up my phone, scanned it with my face, and opened it. It's 5 p.m. right now. I was in school, and my total screen time on my phone is 2 hours. Now, you might have it better than me. You also might have it a lot worse than me. Go check your settings right now before continuing this video. All right, now you've seen the number. How does it make you feel? Maybe if you've barely picked up your phone today, that's great. Maybe you don't need this video. But if you've picked up your phone 100 times today, 200 times today, 500 times today, I've seen it before, you are in serious need of a dopamine detox, and this video is going to explain to you why and how it's going to help you actually get some shit done, focus on your studies, your work, whatever you're focused on, and just be more present in your day-to-day life. So now that you've checked your settings, keep watching this video. Dopamine detoxing really changed my life. It allowed me to build my physique, build my coaching business, consistently wake up early, and just be able to focus a lot more. Years ago, I was addicted to video games. I used to have a really bad junk food addiction, and I fixed it all. And I credit a lot of my progress to dopamine detoxing. It's very simple. It's a fun kind of challenge, and it makes you so much progress that you won't even believe the person that you were before on the other side of it. And now the reason why I'm making this video, because I just checked my own settings and I realized that it's not good. I should not be picking up my phone 150 times in one day. I'm sure some of you have it a lot worse, but it's time to lock it in. After I make this video, I'm going to be following it myself, and I suggest that you all do the same. So what actually is dopamine and how does it work? So you have a baseline level of dopamine. Well, first of all, dopamine is like your feel-good chemical. You know, it's what gets spiked when you eat junk food, watch social media, watch YouTube, maybe even watching this video right now, spiking a little bit of dopamine, but you know, especially watching Reels, TikToks, a lot. But here's exactly how it works. So let's say you have a baseline level. When you do something stimulating, like let's say scroll on TikTok, it spikes your dopamine, which makes you feel good. You know, you definitely feel, that's why you're addicted to these apps, is because it makes you feel good. But it's not all good, because after you get the spike, you dip back down. But it doesn't just go down to the baseline, it goes below the baseline, which is why you feel horrible. And don't worry, it does come back up, but it never goes back to the baseline, which is where it was before. A new baseline forms, which is lower than it was before, which means now to get that same level of pleasure, which is up here, is why before you used to be able to watch 2 TikToks and feel satisfied. Now you have to scroll for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 5 hours a day to get that same level of stimulation and happiness. You feel shit every day. You don't like your life. You don't want to make progress. You don't want to take action. You don't want to train hard. You don't want to work on a business. You don't want to study. It's because all of this baseline dopamine level has dropped so low that now you can't even focus 5 minutes. And to get the same level of feeling good, because we all need dopamine in our lives. It's what makes us feel good, you know, excited, want to live. But to get to that same level of satisfaction, you have to do so much more, waste so much more time, and every time you do it, it gets worse and worse and worse. It's a never-ending cycle, and you'll fall down and down and down and down and down. I really think this is something that causes depression in so many people, because if your baseline level of dopamine gets so low, it's so difficult to feel good and to feel happy that you can no longer do it. Because even if you cut out social media, all this kind of stuff, you're still down here and still you just feel bad. So aside from all this stuff, you know, junk food, social media, all these addictions, you'll still feel horrible because your baseline has fallen so low. So you have this feeling where you wake up in the morning, you feel groggy, you have no motivation, you don't want to do anything, which you should. You should want to get out of bed. You should want to take action. You should want to rush to the gym. You should want to get up early. If you don't want to do this stuff, it's because your baseline level has dropped so low. But luckily for you, there is a solution, and that's exactly what a dopamine detox will do for you. It's detoxing from the negative sources of dopamine, and this is what's going to allow you to see progress in life, feel better, and actually have the motivation and the discipline to do the stuff that you've been avoiding. And when I say removing the dopamine sources and detoxing, you can't actually detox from dopamine in a way you don't get any dopamine at all, because me recording this video spiking my dopamine, me taking a sip of water spiking my dopamine, but it's like this much. Scrolling social media is like that much, you know, so it's a lot more. We're removing these artificial sources of dopamine, which we wouldn't have had 100 years ago. So imagine the things you're doing today, which you wouldn't have done 100, 200 years ago, which make you feel good. We're removing all of them over the next week. So this is exactly how you can do it. I'm going to suggest it as a 7-day challenge. Now, if this goes well, I suggest you continue and do it for 30 days. But if you've never done one of these before, it is difficult. It is going to test you, but it will make you feel so much better and you'll be so much more productive. You'll get so much better results at the end of it, but you have to stick to these for 7 days. The first one is no social media, and this isn't just texting, this is mostly the short form content. If you think about it, let's say I scroll on social media, one second I'm watching a video about why the Titanic sunk, the next one I'm watching why Sam Sulek isn't gonna fucking win Mr. Olympia, the next one I see a video about a cat, a dog, we're jumping around so much, we never focus, we never watch one thing for a long amount of time. This is just training our dopamine system to drop and drop and drop, our baseline to get lower and lower and lower. When this happens, this is when we don't feel good because we're jumping around. It's like, obviously we can't focus and study. Obviously you can't sit down and do work if you're used to just jumping around from topic to topic every 10 to 15 seconds. So you need to cut out all of this, and you also need to just deactivate the apps just for a week. Next time, show the movies, it's the same stuff. It's obviously not even that bad. I bet some of you watching this video can't even sit down and watch a movie because it's too long, it's too understimulating. That's also another reason why you need to give up this short form content. But even still, TV shows are going to stimulate your dopamine a lot, so just cut them out for the next 7 days. Another big one, this might not be for you, but for everyone, or at least a lot of people, it is music. Stimulating music. And even though it makes you feel good, I like listening to music myself, it definitely does spike your dopamine in a negative way. And this isn't to say you shouldn't bring it back later in. This isn't saying that you shouldn't listen to any music at all. But you got really stimulating music, the heavy rap, heavy lyrical music. Maybe tone it down a bit, listen to some more like non-lyrical music, that kind of stuff. And then remove all the stuff. I'll trust your judgment to do this yourself, but just get rid of the music that really does spike your dopamine a lot. Next one is no YouTube, because, even though we're getting rid of short form content, movies, TV shows, YouTube is a big cope for people, at least for me, and people that are trying to improve themselves, all that kind of stuff. YouTube, there's a lot of good content, educational content, maybe like this video you're watching right now. But it is spiking your dopamine. It is going to negatively impact your baseline levels. And this isn't to say you shouldn't introduce it back later on, but for the next 7 days, you'll also not be watching any YouTube. You need to follow a diet. I'm going to tell you what, if you're addicted to fast food, cut it out. If you're addicted to sugar, try and cut it out. Choose something that's challenging, but it's also realistic. You could stick to, no added sugar for 7 days, for example, just eat fruit instead, something like this. And the last is no notifications. It seems like a small thing. It's like, oh, you get a notification from Find My iPhone or something. Doesn't matter. It actually does. Turn off notifications for all of your apps. You can do it in the settings, and then put your phone on Do Not Disturb. You're probably thinking, what if an emergency happens? Has an emergency happened before? Probably not. And are you going to be the person to fix the emergency if your house gets set on fire? Are you going to be able to put the fire out? Probably not. So I think you should just stuck it up and honestly just turn off your notifications. Stop worrying for this accident to occur, because to be honest, it never does. But I'll judge on this, but I'd say switch off your notification, because this is a study that I found which was so interesting. When you get a notification and you check it on your phone, how long do you think that took me? 2 seconds maybe? Well, it didn't actually take you 2 seconds. What have I told you that it costed you over 20 minutes of focus? I'm sure you all know about the state of deep work, being in a flow state. Well, checking your notification on your phone, even just for 2 seconds, will take you out of focus for almost 20 minutes. For some people, it's a bit less. For some people, it's more. 20 minutes of focused work, you're letting go just by checking your phone once. So if you pick your phone, like we just checked, for me, it's 150 times. That's all that work you're missing out on, all of that focus. This is why you can't focus, because your attention is being taken away from you. Your phone pings, you check it. Again, you've probably been in a state before where you're trying to study, you're also texting people, you're also checking your notifications. You don't get any work done. You tell yourself you're multitasking, you tell yourself you're being productive. But if you actually took a step back and looked at what you've just done, you've done mediocre work, you've mediocrely spoken to people, you haven't had a good conversation, you're just doing a whole lot of nothing. You're doing everything poorly, and therefore you're not making progress. So when you work, you should work. When you text, you should text and do it alone, and do it singularly, do it by itself. This is the 7-day challenge. It's difficult. You're probably wondering, what are you going to do? You're going to feel bored. Yes, you're going to feel bored. But when you feel bored, this is when your baseline dopamine levels go up. It increases, which means your natural level, your homeostasis level of living is better. You feel happier, you want to do more, you're more motivated. This is your new baseline of life. When before it was down here, you felt depressed, you always needed to scroll on your phone. Now it's up here. A conversation spikes your dopamine. Drinking a cold glass of water spikes your dopamine. It makes you feel great. Before you felt nothing, now you feel everything. It's really an amazing feeling. You go through this challenge for at least a week to see the results you want. And when you do this, when you actually fix your dopamine levels, everything better. You can focus more in school. You can finally work on that business and actually make some progress. It's what allowed me to make progress, dopamine detoxing. You can start the business, whatever you want to do. You can focus more in the gym. You can go to the gym if that's you. That's just another distraction which is stopping you from getting to where you want to go. So cut this stuff out. No social media, no TV shows, movies, no stimulating music, no YouTube. Follow a strict diet of notifications. It's only 7 days. If you see the results, come back to this video and drop it down below. I'm very curious to see if this works for you. If you want to join my community, like-minded guys, all on this journey, we're dopamine detoxing, we're focusing on our physiques, we're building up our lives. By upgrading physique, you upgrade your life. Check it out, top link in the description, click the guys in there, and we're all on this journey together. This is the challenge. Now you have to decide, are you going to take it? Do you want more focus in your life? Do you want to make more progress? And do you actually want to finally get to where you want to get to? Not be distracted in this world. The choice is up to you. This is the challenge. Never going to do it. Goodbye.